What's up guys, Spin Firearms here, and today we're going to be comparing two of my favorite Micro 9s, the Springfield Armory Hellcat and the FN Reflex. Two very similar but also very different carry options in the Micro 9 configuration. But before we get started, hit the like button, drop a comment down below, subscribe, tell me what you carried today. What I'm currently carrying right now, fresh out of the holster, the MP40 Shield, chamber in 357 SIG. Absolutely love this thing, tons of power in a very small setup. And what I'd like to say about this video is this is viewer requested. This was someone who I happened to come across the comment. I try to respond to a lot of comments. I try to read a lot of them, but I don't always see them all. But if I do, and you request something, there's a good chance that I will make that comparison video or review video or whatever the case may be. So this is one of those videos. Let's get into it. Springfield Armory Hellcat. Comes stock right out of the box with a... Actually, let's safety check these firearms so they don't get on me about it. But they're always safety checked prior to the video. Now, the Hellcat, in this setup right now, a 15+1 striker fired 3-inch barrel Micro 9. Absolutely love Springfield Armory. I have a ton of Springfield Armory firearms, never a single issue. Now, out of the box, it comes with an 11-round mag and a 13-round mag, usually. But my most recent Hellcat purchase came with 5 15-round mags, a range bag, for $515. You cannot beat that for a first everyday carry option or even just a firearm. Having 5 mags is crucial for training, having backup mags for carrying, and so on. So that was an absolute great deal. But for deep concealment, you can get the 11-round flush mag, you can get the 13-round mag that comes down to here, you can get the 15-round mag, and now they make a 17-round mag for the Hellcat. Now it was made for the Hellcat Pro, but me, you know I gotta test things out. Took the 17-round mag, I slipped on this grip sleeve from the 15-round mag, threw it in, it runs flawlessly. Springfield Armory designed it to use the 15-round grip sleeve on the 17-round mag to work with the original Hellcat. So now you have a 3-inch barrel, very comfortable to carry, very light, but you have 17 round, 18 total round capacity. Absolutely unbelievable. Has this awesome flat face trigger. Not the most room in the trigger guard for a glove finger if you live in a cold area, but it does work just fine. Has a rail. I run my other Hellcat with a TLR 7A sub designed specifically for the Hellcat. Has these awesome memory pads right here. Your thumb to help fight some recoil, and your finger to associate your brain with keeping that finger off the trigger. Your brain will say, okay, my finger's in the right spot, we're safe. Comes with awesome night sights like all these Hellcats and Hellcat Pros do. The U-notch rear with the yellow front tritium sight. Absolutely love U-notch sight setups, and on top of there I have the Ruger Ready Dot. Simply just a $70 optic that runs, stays true to zero, and you never have to zero it in. It's just a good optic for cheap that's going to be there when you need it, and it simply runs off light. So for instance, if I turn the light off, we're going to have a dimmer light, right? Because there's a little bit of light in this room still, not the most. Turn the light back on, and boom, you have that full dot. So when it's completely dark, all you're going to see is that tritium front sight, and it's meant to co-witness with stock sights, so you don't have to get suppressor height sights that are taking up half or a third of your sight picture. So I love the Ruger Ready Dot. But the Hellcat's been absolutely flawless. I have 3 OG Hellcats, and I have 1 Hellcat Pro. Over 15,000 rounds between all of them, not a single issue. And one of my black Hellcats was one of my carry firearms I got during the pandemic, and I ran everything through it. I was buying bags of reloads from people. I was buying steel ammo. I was buying anything I could get my hands on just so I can get some training and shooting out of the way. This thing ate it all. I remember I have a video on YouTube. I filled like 7 different hollow points in here, all staggered throughout the mags. Ran flawlessly, not a single issue. Now part of that is in the design, right? Right here, cleared firearm, you see that double feed ramp. If you have a hollow point that's shaped odd or a little out of spec, or a round that wants to nosedive, it's going to hit that second feed ramp and shoot up right into that barrel. That is huge for overall reliability. I absolutely love that about the Hellcat. Now let's get into that trigger pull. We'll actually drop the mag. Trigger pull, it's not that bad at all. It's heavy, but so crisp. Not a lot of over travel. Reset, pretty short. It's not the shortest reset in the world, but perfect for everyday carry. You're not going to have any negligent discharges in a self-defense situation or anything like that. And it feels really good on the finger. It feels really natural. Very crisp, very clean. I absolutely love the Hellcat. And if you really put rounds through it, you'll notice that trigger really loosens up and gets much better. Now, people say this is very snappy. It is snappier than like the P365 and other options, but if you train with it, you'll realize the Hellcat is one of those firearms that may be a little snappier, but it'll never do you wrong. You can trust your life with them. Just make sure you're testing your firearms, but if you get the average Hellcat is going to come and run flawlessly regardless of what conditions it's ran in. Next up is the FN Reflex. This is a hammer-fired offering from FN. Their previous smaller setup was the FN 503, which I had, and my FN 503 had thousands of rounds through it. It was a single stack, but that was my pocket carry at work. I carried it for 3.5 years while doing new construction plumbing. It got dirty as can be. Got beat up, it got dropped, it got banged, it got ran over. I kid you not, I've told that story a bunch on this channel. And it ran. So the FN Reflex was a must for me because I know that reliability is there, just like the Hellcat. The FN 503 really proved to me that FN truly is battle tested like they claim. But comes with a rail, comes with awesome night sights. Now the front is tritium, similar to the Hellcat, but the back does not have tritium, but it's a U-notch as well with 2 white dots. Orange front, awesome forward serrations, rear serrations, just your typical, but great overall texturing. Now the original Hellcat does have awesome texturing on it. I just added Hellcat, or these handle edge series grips with the Hellcat logo on it, just to give it a little look to it, and they feel really good in the hand. But they both have great texturing. They are both very similar when you look at their overall size. Now the FN Reflex does have a longer barrel, I think by 0.3 inches. But very ergonomic in the hand, feels really good. Let's compare the sizes real quick before we go any further. Both using a 15-round mag right now. And my FN did come with an 11-round mag as well, which is shorter, but it's upstairs. As you can see, the Hellcat does beat the FN Reflex. And that is because the Hellcat is the smallest firearm with the most capacity, chambered 9mm. That is a fact. Just like my Beretta Pico, people always try and dispute the fact. The Beretta Pico is the thinnest production .380 ever produced in the world. Thinner than the Bodyguard, thinner than the LCP. It is thinner than any other production .380. Just like this Hellcat is the smallest with the most capacity out of any firearm, even more than its basically predecessor, the P365. But anyways, back to the FN. All the controls work great. It is clear. The slide actually racks like butter. It feels really, really good. Let's get to that trigger pull. Very light to this point, then very crisp. It is much lighter than the Hellcat overall. Resets longer, but like I said, very crisp. Let's do it one more time. Both of these do not leave a lot of room in the trigger guard for glove fingers, but I do run them with my Magpul gloves. They tend to be thinner, but they're still very warm because where I live, it gets cold. Look at that texturing. Really, really good where it matters in the front and the back. And on the side, also has great texturing. And let's just take a minute to appreciate how amazing these firearms look. Now, I know looks don't matter that much, but in my opinion, they do matter a little bit. You want to get into your carry firearm as much as possible. You want to love your carry firearm. You want to trust it. You want to just, be into it as much as possible because that's going to make you want to take it to the range. A lot of people sit at the range with their compacts, their large firearms, and it's very, very comfortable to shoot, right? If I'm shooting like something like this, my Glock 23 with a heavy light, a heavy optic, this thing is very easy to handle recoil even though it's M40. But if I'm carrying a light Micro 9, once I go to shoot this to defend myself, it's going to be like a whole different world. So you're going to want to carry what you're going to shoot. So that's where the looks come into it. Is you want something that looks nice, so you're into your carry firearm. You want to take it to the range. You want to show it off, that whole sort of thing. The one thing about the FN that I don't like as much, at least on the FDE, is the overall finish. Now I know underneath this Cerakote, it'll be just fine. There'll be no rust issues or anything, but it is starting to wear down a little bit. But that's just from carry. And if you're looking for a good holster for the FN Reflex or the Springfield Armory Hellcat, you can check out Blacksmith Tactical and use code SPN for 10% off. As to, I'll show you what my Hellcat carry is. This right here is a beltless IWB holster, Ultra Clip and a claw. And I carry this gym shorts, sweatpants, jeans, khakis, bathing suits. I even made a video of it in my snow pants. Great holsters, and that's what I've been carrying with. Like I said though, I do like the finish on the Hellcat better. It lasts longer. It does get marked up and scratched up with all the micro scratches and stuff, but that's common, guys. It's a carry firearm. It's going to get beat up. It's going to get worn down. is just part of it. As long as it doesn't rust, like some SIGs and stuff like that, I don't have an issue with it. Overall comparison, which one do I like better? I like the Hellcat better in my opinion, but that's just because I've trusted it for so long, they ran so long, and I only have a couple hundred rounds for my Reflex. But the trigger on the Reflex is great. It does take a little time to learn because it is a little different than your average trigger, but it's very light, very fast, very shootable. Reset's a little long, but not a big deal. Every control just works. I mean, it just functions perfectly. Shoots that mag out. It's not like the Canik Meta MC9 where the mag gets stuck in there and stuff like that. Same with the Hellcat. Everything is just crisp, clean, and just runs. And these are 2 Micro 9s that I would carry and defend my life with. These are some of my favorite Micro 9s, as well as the Shield Plus. They're great. They're very different, but at the same time very similar. If you want a little bit longer barrel, you can go with the FN Reflex. But both are going to be reliable on average. Both you can trust your life with, but I will say the FN Reflex does have less recoil. I think that has something to do with the guide rod, plus a little bit longer barrel. But weight-wise, I'd say they're pretty similar, you know. Even with this Opticon, I'd say now they're pretty comparable in weight. Both have great magazine options, but I do like the Hellcat a bit better. But that doesn't mean I'm not carrying my FN Reflex, because I absolutely love this thing. Like I said, just got my holster for it, so I have been carrying it. Been carrying it with the smaller mag mostly, but now that it's getting colder out, I'll be carrying it with that 15-round mag. 2 incredible options, great capacity, good shooters, good triggers, great reliability. What more can you ask for? Thanks for watching, guys.